What's up everybody, Kamahl here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. So today we are going to be looking at some news regarding Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected and how they will kind of work together. Before we jump into the news, if you guys like this video, you like the information I'm trying to provide, the fact that I'm trying to provide this information, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leave a comment in the section down below. I don't typically reply to the comments too much, but I do read the comments. So let's get into the news. This is a story posted by PC Gamer that did come out just about an hour ago. I was outside smoking and I saw this notification pop up on my phone and I was like, oh, well then, let's go ahead and let's look at this. So what this is saying is that Diablo 2 Resurrected will let you pick up where you left off 20 years ago, meaning you can import save files. So you can import save files from your current Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction games, at least as far as I understand. It's going to be both Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 LOD. But you can take those saves and transfer them into Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's the TLDR shortened version of it. This is pretty good news. I know a lot of people that like to play the game single player, and I'm pretty much the exact same way. I typically play online, but I do play single player, passworded games to where I'm typically the only one in there. So I think this is pretty cool. The only downside is that it's really easy to download a program that lets you make whatever you want in Diablo 2. So I mean, I could technically, the barbarian that you guys saw in the last video, I could technically take that character and bring it over into single-player Diablo 2 Resurrected, which, I mean, it would still just be single-player, so, I mean, it's still just having fun. So, I mean, that could be really cool. I guess that just means that we're going to have to start looking more so at hero editors so people can start theory crafting their own builds, but that's all for another time. Let's go ahead and let's read the actual story. So it is by Natalie Clayton, and she says, you'll be able to import your old saves from the original game in the upcoming remake. Excited about the upcoming Diablo 2 remaster? But worried about losing all those hundreds of hours of progress built up over decades of playing the original? Worry not, adventurers, because it turns out these old saves will work perfectly with Diablo 2 Resurrected, letting you pick up right where you left off. That is super awesome, great news for anyone that, like I've already stated, is a single-player Diablo 2 player. Also, anyone that likes to theory craft, likes to mess around, likes to go in and, like I said, instead of, like, with how long I've played the game, I know what it takes to level up a character and go through everything and acquire all the gear. So if I'm trying to test stuff out, the way that I personally want to test it out is go into Hero Editor, go into single player, that way none of it matters, and just see how the build works with different gear variations in it. To be able to also do that same thing with just a couple additional clicks in Diablo 2 Resurrected, that's going to be really awesome. I'm still going to be able to do the same type of build and theory craft videos that I'm going to be doing, but with the higher graphical output, which is, I mean, to me, I think Diablo 2 looks great. My wife and I both agree that, Diablo 2 looks amazing. After seeing Resurrected, I was like, okay, that does look much better, but fine. I'm still playing Diablo 2. Let's continue on with the story, though. It says that news comes courtesy of the game producer Matthew Cedarquist, who told IGN Middle East that a happy accident meant that Diablo 2 saves ended up slotting perfectly into the remaster. Good news if you've been holding on to a cherished barbarian file for the past 20 years. That's weird. I have been playing my part recently. It's quoted saying, yes, keep your old save files. Back when we were working on the remaster, we wondered if the old save files would work, so we kind of shoved it in, and it worked. So yes, your local single-player save files will carry over. I'm not sure how the carrying over will be. I'm not sure if it's just going to be take your file. Like currently, you can go in and there's a certain file type. I think it's like D2S, .D2S, something of that nature, which is your actual character file, essentially. And you can take that and you can move it around. It says ideally that means you'll be able to easily run to your old favorite characters and experience all the shiny newness coming with Resurrected. Updated visuals, improved networking, and cross-progression with the remaster's console releases. In the same interview, game designer Andre Abrahamian explained the team's approach to remastering, leaving the core mechanics untouched while pushing the game's visuals as far as they could. No joke, for the longest time, me and everyone that, well, not everyone, of course, the large majority of people that I spoke to in the Diablo 2 community, in the action RPG community that has played Diablo 2, the majority of people agree that Diablo 2 is fine how it is. It just needs a bit of a graphical update, or not needs, but it could use. Like, if we get a remaster, what do we want? We want it to look better. Maybe a couple ease of lives. After playing on Project Diablo 2, I've got to say that character inventory size is a hassle to manage. I never thought too much of it. It always just seemed like whatever to me. And then I went and played on, mods that actually give you a way bigger inventory, and now I'm like, oh, yeah, this really isn't very much room. Anyways, it says, when we first started working on the game, we wanted to keep all the gameplay aspects, like discovering the Haradra Cube, recipes, or the deep itemization system or drop rates, and all the storytelling, said Abrahamian. But when we approached things like art, we wanted to push it and modernize it as much as we could. And that was a quote from Abrahamian. With Diablo 2 Resurrected, Blizzard seems to have learned its lesson from disastrous Warcraft 3 Reforged. I agree. That's something that I vocalized previously, that I really do think with the things that have happened with Blizzard over the past couple of years, they've really started to realize that if you're going to implement something new, don't change it, or not implement something new. If you're going to remaster something, don't change it too much and don't break the old one. If you break the old one so people can't go back to old reliable, like if you have a car, right? You have a car that's been in your family for 20 years. It never has any problems. And you decide, oh, I'm going to build a new car. Oh, well, I need a differential. Luckily, this differential from, old reliable fits perfectly into the new custom build that I'm trying to do. So you pull it out of old reliable, put it in the fucking new car, and it's too much power for the differential and it breaks it. And now you don't have a car at all. That's what happened with Warcraft. And it seems as though that's not what we're going to be getting with Diablo 2 Resurrected. They're also not really fully doing it in-house. They're using Vicarious Visions. Now, yes, I do understand that Vicarious Visions is now a subsidiary of sorts of Blizzard Entertainment. They kind of absorbed Vicarious Visions. However, what I've seen personally from Vicarious Visions, the games that I've played that they've put out, I don't really have any complaints. I'm very, very happy with what I've seen from them. So I could expect that this game should be fine. Now, the best part about it is that they're not going to be getting rid of the old Diablo 2, so even if it's not that great, we can just go back to old reliable. So it goes on to state the lessons. The action RPG remaster seems more concerned with enhancing the original rather than replacing it. Exactly. And Diablo 2 will still remain perfectly playable and moddable online through Legacy Battle.net. That's, like I said, that's exactly what we've been asking for this entire time. So I'm super happy to hear about this. This is great. This is going to allow us to take that testing capabilities that you really have with Diablo 2 when it comes to single player. Now, obviously, the game's not rewarding to play like that. It really isn't. you know, to go in and just make a super, like, legit, I shit you not, when I go on single player with these characters that I make, that I've made super powerful, the only thing that I do is test. And then I have Project Diablo 2 that I actually play on. So I actually play on Project Diablo 2, and I have a Necromancer that I play over there. But then when I'm doing my testing, I'm doing it on single player. That way I can just be like, okay, give him this gear, level him up to this point, go in, allocate the stats, allocate the skills, and just run around and see how they work. See how the build functions. And to be able to also do that in Diablo 2 Resurrected, that's going to be really cool. That's going to be fun. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy to hear about this. Let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this. Like I said, I've already kind of beaten the dead horse. I think it's cool. I think it's great news. I think it's huge, huge news. And I'm really excited to get my hands on Diablo 2 Resurrected. I have already, like I've mentioned, I've already pre-ordered the game. I pre-ordered it within an hour of the game being announced. So I have that. I also have some really, really super cool Diablo 2 content coming up here in the future that I don't think I've seen anyone else do videos on before. And that's going to be really fun. So I hope to see y'all there. Anyways, that's the end of this video. As always, I'm out!